Wade Mercer had learned long ago that trouble often wore a grin before it showed its teeth. So when the sharp crack of a man striking a woman split the stillness, outside the boarding house, his body moved before his mind could catch up. 1 second he was washing trail dust from his face in a rented room. The next he was reaching for his Colt, heart pounding with the old fury he had spent 11 years trying to bury. He hit the stairs fast, boots hammering the wood. By the time he reached the porch, he saw her. The widow stood there with one hand pressed to her cheek. Her chin lifted, her eyes bright with pain and pride. She did not look frightened. She looked angry, and that, more than the bruise already rising on her skin, did something hard and dangerous to Wade's chest. Why did a woman still standing after being struck make him feel like he had just stepped into another war? The town of Rust Hollow had looked like every other dying frontier town. Wade had drifted through. Dust in the street. Crooked signs, a saloon leaning like a tired drunk, men with suspicion in their eyes and secrets in their pockets. He had come there in the summer of 1876, with no plan beyond finding a bed, a hot meal, and maybe one quiet night. Instead, he found the Bluebird House. It stood cleaner than the rest of the town, with real glass in the windows and flower boxes under the sills. Inside, it smelled of fresh bread and soap instead of whiskey and failure. The woman who ran it surprised him. Hannah Pierce was young, maybe 25, with honey-colored hair pinned back and green eyes as steady as open country. Pretty, yes, but what stayed with him was the way she held herself. Straight-backed, unshaken, like life had tried to break her and failed. She gave him her rules before she gave him a key. $2 a week, meals included, no drinking upstairs, no visitors after 9, no gunplay. Break the rules and sleep outside with the coyotes. Wade had almost smiled. Later, from whispers around town, he learned a little more. Her dead husband had been a drunk, a gambler, and mean. He had left her debts, gossip, and a name people said with pity or contempt. Still, she kept the place running. Still, she planted flowers. That should have told Wade enough. By sundown, 5 riders pulled up outside the boarding house, and their leader called her out like he owned the place. Rafe Cutter was tall, black-bearded, and carried himself like a man who liked hurting people. He said Hannah owed him for her husband's debts. She told him no. He answered with the back of his hand. Now Wade stood between them, gun low at his side. "The lady asked you to leave," he said. Rafe's cold eyes narrowed. Looks like the widow found herself a guard dog. From behind Wade came Hannah's quiet voice, steady even now. "You should not have done this, mister." Wade did not turn around. Too late now. Wade did not lower his gun. The street had gone quiet. Doors cracked open. Faces watched from shadows. No one stepped forward. Rafe Cutter smiled slow, like he had all the time in the world. "You new in town, stranger?" "Long enough," Wade replied. "Then you don't understand how things work here." "Looks to me like a man hitting a woman," Wade said evenly. "Don't seem complicated." A ripple moved through the onlookers. Not agreement, not yet, but something close. Rafe's hand drifted toward his gun. His men shifted with him, 5 riders, each one wearing that same loose, ready posture Wade knew too well. Men who had drawn before. Men who had killed before. Wade felt it settle into his bones. The distance, the wind, the angle of the sun in his eyes, all the things that mattered when a moment like this broke open. Behind him, Hannah spoke again, softer this time. "Please, don't make this worse." Wade heard the fear she would not show. It tightened something inside him. Too late for that. One of Rafe's boys moved first. Young, nervous, trying to prove something. His hand snapped toward his holster. Wade's Colt cleared leather in a blur. The shot cracked through the street. The boy spun and dropped hard into the dust, clutching his shoulder, screaming. Silence followed, thick and heavy, broken only by the echo of that single gunshot and the boy's ragged cries. Wade didn't blink. His gun stayed steady, aimed straight at Rafe. "Next one won't be so forgiving," he said. Everything held still, even the wind. Rafe's smile was gone now. His eyes had turned dark, measuring, calculating. "You just made this your business," he said quietly. Already was. For a long moment, it looked like the whole town balanced on the edge of something ugly. Wade felt it. That thin line where men chose between walking away or letting blood settle the matter. Rafe finally stepped back. "Get him on a horse," he snapped to his men. They moved fast, hauling the wounded boy up, muttering curses under their breath. No one else reached for a gun. Not yet. Rafe mounted slowly, never taking his eyes off Wade. "This ain't over," he said. "You and the widow both. You just signed yourselves a future you ain't gonna like." Wade didn't answer. Didn't need to. The riders turned, hooves tearing into the dust, and thundered out of Rust Hollow. Only when they were gone did the town breathe again. Wade lowered his gun. For the first time since it started, he turned back. Hannah stood there, her cheek flushed where she had been struck, her hands steady at her sides. Her eyes searched his face like she was trying to understand something she hadn't expected to find. "You shouldn't have done that," she said quietly. "I've dealt with worse men." She shook her head slowly. "No, you don't understand." Her voice dropped, heavier now. "Rafe Cutter owns half this county. The sheriff answers to him. The rest of the town is too afraid to stand against him." Wade glanced down the empty street. All those watching eyes had disappeared again. "Then why stay?" he asked. Hannah lifted her chin, that same steel returning. "Because this is my home." Wade studied her for a long second. Then he nodded once. "Then I reckon you're going to need that guard dog after all." For just a moment, she smiled. Small, tired, but real. And something about it made Wade feel like he had just made a decision he wouldn't be able to walk away from. Morning came quiet, but it carried tension like a storm waiting to break. Wade had not slept much. Every creak of the boarding house, every whisper of wind against the walls had kept him alert. Old habits, the kind that never left a man no matter how far he rode. The smell of coffee pulled him downstairs. 3 guests already sat at the long table. A traveling salesman with slick hair and quick eyes, an older woman with sharp posture and sharper opinions, and a young clerk who looked like he had never seen real trouble in his life. They all went quiet when Wade stepped in. "Morning," he said, taking a seat. "Morning," the salesman replied, though his tone held caution. "Heard about yesterday." "I imagine you did." "Bold," the older woman said, lifting her cup. "Or foolish." "Same thing sometimes," Wade answered. The kitchen door opened and Hannah stepped in with a fresh pot of coffee. The bruise on her cheek had darkened overnight. Wade noticed it before anything else. She moved like nothing was wrong. Calm. Collected. As if the town's fear and yesterday's violence had no place inside her walls. "Morning, Mr. Mercer," she said, pouring his cup. "Ma'am." Her hand was steady, but just barely. The young clerk cleared his throat. "Do you think he'll come back?" Hannah didn't hesitate. "Men like Rafe Cutter always come back," she said. "It's only a matter of time." Silence settled again. After breakfast, Wade helped clear the table despite her quiet protests. They worked side by side in the kitchen. Plates, water, simple things. For a while, neither spoke. Then Hannah broke first. "You should leave," she said, scrubbing a dish harder than needed. "Before he decides to make an example of you." "What about you?" "I've managed 2 years alone. I can manage again." Wade leaned against the counter, watching her. "No," he said quietly. "You've been surviving. That ain't the same thing." The plate slipped from her hands. It shattered on the floor. They both bent down at the same time, reaching for the pieces. Their hands nearly touched. Hannah pulled back first. "There's more to it," she said, her voice lower now. "My husband owed him. Not just money." Wade said nothing. He waited. "He let Cutter's men use our barn," she continued. "Stolen goods, meetings, things I didn't understand back then." She swallowed. "When he died, Cutter lost that place, and now he wants it back." She nodded. "Through me." Wade felt something cold settle in his chest. "And if you refuse?" "He takes everything." She stood, dropping the broken pieces into a bucket. "Either way, I lose." Wade looked around the kitchen. Clean floors, warm light, a place built with effort and stubborn hope. Not something a man should take. "Running won't fix it," he said. She gave a small, humorless laugh. "Staying might get you killed." Wade rolled up his sleeves and stepped to the sink. "Wouldn't be the first time I stood in the wrong place," he muttered. Hannah glanced at his arms then. Really looked. Scars crossed his skin. Old wounds, deep ones, the kind that told stories without words. Her voice softened. "The war?" "Among other things." "Which side?" Wade dipped his hands into the water. Stopped mattering after a while. Silence filled the room again, but this time it wasn't empty. It held something else, understanding, and maybe the beginning of something neither of them was ready to name. The rest of the day passed under a quiet strain. Wade fixed a loose shutter, hauled water from the well, walked the edge of the property like a man who expected trouble to come riding in at any moment. The town felt different now. People moved faster, kept their heads down. Conversation stopped when he got too close. Fear had settled in thick as dust. By late afternoon, the sheriff finally showed up. Harlan Briggs climbed the boarding house steps with a tired groan, his badge dull and crooked against his vest. He looked like a man who had long ago decided peace was easier than doing his job. "Mercer," he said, wiping sweat from his brow. Heard you stirred up trouble. Wade leaned against the porch rail. Trouble was already here. Briggs frowned. Now listen. Cutter's not someone you cross. Seems to me he's exactly the kind you cross. That's not how things work in Rust Hollow. No, Wade said flatly. It's exactly how they work. You just choose not to do anything about it. The sheriff's face tightened. You don't understand the reach that man has. Judges, landmen, folks in the Capitol. You push him, and it won't just be guns you're facing. Sounds like you're giving me a warning. I am. Wade stepped closer. Then hear one back, he said quietly. Next time he lays a hand on her, you won't have to worry about paperwork. Briggs held his gaze for a long second. Then he sighed. Don't say I didn't try, he muttered, turning and heading back down the steps. When he was gone, Wade found Hannah in the small garden behind the house. She was working the soil harder than necessary, pulling weeds like they had done her a personal wrong. He's right, she said without looking up. You don't know what you're up against. Maybe not, Wade replied, picking up a rake. But I know men like Cutter. She straightened, brushing dirt from her hands. And what does that tell you? That they keep taking until someone stops them. And you think that someone is you? No, Wade said simply. I think it's us. That made her pause. For a moment she just stared at him. Then she looked away, shaking her head slightly. You don't even know me. I know enough. The wind moved through the dry grass, carrying the faint sound of a piano from the saloon. Life pretending to go on. Hannah stepped closer, her voice quieter now. You should know what kind of woman you're defending, she said. Town doesn't think much of me. Town doesn't seem worth impressing. Her lips twitched at that. My husband. She began, then stopped, gathering herself. He drank, gambled, lost everything we had. Sometimes, he took his anger out on me. Wade's grip tightened on the rake. He ever hit you? She didn't answer. Didn't need to. The silence said enough. I stayed, she continued, because I thought things would change. Because I didn't know where else to go. And now?
Now I stay because I built something from what he left behind. She gestured to the house. Even if people whisper. Even if they think I deserved it. Wade studied her face. You didn't. She met his eyes then. Something raw flickered there. Why do you care? She asked. The question landed harder than anything else she had said. Wade took a slow breath. Maybe I'm tired of walking away, he said. Maybe I've seen enough things I couldn't stop. He looked out toward the open land beyond the town. Or maybe I just don't like bullies. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Hannah turned back to the garden, but her voice softened. Dinner's at 6, she said. Wade nodded, and for the first time in a long while, he found himself thinking about staying.
The trouble came back just before sundown. Wade heard it before he saw it. Hooves. Fast. Too many. He stepped onto the porch, already reaching for his rifle. Dust rolled down Main Street like a low storm. Out of it came riders, more than before. Not 5 this time. 10, maybe 12. Rafe Cutter rode at the front, one arm bound in a dark cloth where Wade had shot him. His face looked thinner, meaner, like pain had sharpened something already ugly. They ain't here to talk, Wade muttered. Behind him the door opened. Hannah stepped out. Inside, he said without turning. No. He glanced back. She was holding something wrapped in cloth.
Hannah.
My house, she said calmly. My fight. She unwrapped it. A small revolver rested in her hand. Old worn, but steady. Wade exhaled slowly. Then stay close. The riders pulled up hard, spreading out across the street. Rafe smiled when he saw them both standing there. Well now, he called. Looks like the widow found herself a partner. You said your piece yesterday, Wade replied. Ride on. Rafe laughed. Oh, I plan to. Just not without what I came for. His men began to fan out, boots hitting the dirt. Hands already drifting toward guns. The street emptied again. No help coming. Wade felt it settle deep in his bones. This was it. Rafe pointed toward the house. Last chance, Hannah. Come with me. And maybe I forget about the rest of this. Her voice didn't shake. I'd sooner burn this place down myself. That did it. Rafe's smile vanished. Then burn it, he snapped. The first bottle came flying through the front window. Glass shattered. Flames burst across the floor. Fire, someone shouted. Wade grabbed a bucket of sand from beside the porch and rushed inside, stamping and throwing until the flames choked and died. Gunfire cracked outside. Wood splintered near the door. Hannah, back! He shouted. But she didn't run. She fired. The small revolver kicked in her hand, the sound sharp and surprising. One of the men outside cursed and stumbled back. Wade grabbed his Winchester. Stay low. Bullets punched through the walls, tearing through wood and glass. Smoke and dust filled the air. The house groaned like it was alive and hurting. From upstairs came panicked voices. The guests. Wade cursed under his breath. "We need to get them out."
I'll go.
Hannah said. "No. I know this house better than you." He hesitated, just a second, then nodded. "Backstairs. Keep them low. Don't stop." She ran. Wade turned back to the door, firing again. A man dropped near the porch, another dove for cover. Through the smoke, Wade saw Rafe moving closer, using the chaos like a shield. "Come out, Mercer," he shouted. "Let's finish this." Wade's rifle clicked empty. He dropped it, drawing his Colt. "Careful what you wish for," he muttered. The fight tightened. Closer now, more dangerous. From inside, he heard footsteps, fast, urgent. Hannah returned. "They're out." "Good," Wade said. He stepped onto the porch. The wind picked up, pushing smoke across the street. For a moment, everything blurred. Shapes, shadows. Then Rafe stepped through it, gun raised, smiling again. "You picked the wrong town to die in," he said. Wade lifted his Colt. "Wouldn't be the first time I heard that." They fired. At the same time, the world cracked open in thunder. The shots echoed through the smoke. Then silence followed. For a moment, Wade didn't feel anything, just the ringing in his ears, the taste of dust. Then the world snapped back. Rafe staggered. His gun slipped from his hand, hitting the dirt with a dull thud. He looked down at his side like he didn't quite understand what had happened. Blood spread slow and dark through his shirt. Wade was still standing, his chest heaving, his Colt steady. "Should have walked away," Rafe muttered. "Still can," Wade said. "If you're breathing." Rafe gave a weak, bitter laugh, then dropped to his knees. Behind him, his men hesitated. Everything shifted. They saw it now. Their leader bleeding, the fight turning. One of them cursed under his breath. "Get him." Another shouted, but there was no conviction in it. Wade took one step forward. That was enough. They broke. Some grabbed Rafe, hauling him up, others scrambling for their horses. No more gunfire, no more threats, just fear. In seconds they were gone. Riding hard, leaving smoke, broken glass, and silence behind. Wade stood there a long moment, gun still raised, eyes fixed on the empty road, waiting for one more shot, for one more man to come back. Nothing, just wind pushing smoke across the street. Slowly he lowered his gun. The fight was over. For now. Behind him, footsteps. "Hannah, you're hurt," she said. Wade glanced down. A thin line of blood ran along his side where a bullet had grazed him. Nothing deep. Nothing that would slow him down. Just a scratch. She stepped closer anyway. Close enough that he could see the soot on her face. The fear she was still holding back. "You don't look like a man who feels scratches," she said softly. "I've had worse." "I believe that." For a moment, neither of them moved. The air between them changed. Quieter now. Heavier. "You could still leave," she said. "Before he comes back." Wade shook his head. "He will come back," she continued. "And next time he won't come like this. He'll bring more men. He'll burn everything." Wade looked past her. At the house. Broken windows. Scorched floor. Still standing. Then back at her. "And you?" he asked. She didn't hesitate. "I stay." Something settled inside him. Clear. Final. "Then I stay too." Her breath caught slightly at that. "You don't even know what you're agreeing to." "Doesn't matter." "It should." "It doesn't." Silence again, but not empty. This time, it felt like a line had been crossed. A choice made. Hannah looked at him differently now. Not like a stranger, not even like a protector. Like something closer. Something dangerous. "You're not like other men who pass through," she said quietly. "No," Wade replied. "I don't pass through anymore." That stayed between them, hanging, unspoken. Then voices began to rise around them. Town folks creeping out again. Careful. Watching. Whispering. But something had changed. They weren't just afraid now. They'd seen someone stand and win. Wade felt it. That shift. Small, but real. Hannah turned toward the house. "We have work to do," she said. He nodded. "Yeah." They stepped inside together. Side by side. The place smelled of smoke. But beneath it, still there, bread, warmth, life. And for the first time in a long while, Wade Mercer felt like he had stepped into something worth protecting, even if it cost him everything. The house took most of the night to settle. Boards were nailed over broken windows. Ash was swept. Water carried. Smoke pushed out by stubborn hands that refused to let the place fall. Wade worked without stopping. So did she. By the time the last lantern dimmed, the Bluebird house stood again. Wounded, but standing, like them. Later, when the others had gone quiet and the town finally slept, Wade found Hannah alone in the parlor. What was left of it? One chair scorched, the rug ruined, the air still carrying that faint burn. She stood by the window, arms folded, staring out into the dark street. "You should be resting," he said. "So should you." Neither moved. For a long moment, they just stood there, two people too tired to pretend they were fine. "You almost died out there," she said finally. "So did you." "That's different." "It ain't." She turned then, slowly. "No," she said, "it is." Her eyes held his. "You chose it." Wade didn't answer, because she was right. He had. After a long silence, she stepped closer. Not much, just enough. "Why?" she asked. The question wasn't about the fight. He knew that. Wade looked down at his hands. Scarred. Marked. A man's history written in flesh. "Had a brother once," he said quietly. "Better man than me. Married young. Had a life worth keeping." Hannah didn't interrupt. "He died in the war," Wade continued. "I brought him home. Had to look his wife in the eyes and tell her." His jaw tightened. She asked me why it wasn't me instead. Silence. Heavy. Honest. Wade swallowed. She didn't last long after that. Just faded. Hannah's voice softened. "And you've been trying to follow them ever since." He didn't deny it. Didn't need to. They stood close now, close enough to feel each other breathe. "Until now?" she asked. Wade looked at her. Really looked. The strength. The quiet fire. The way she stood in a world that kept trying to push her down. "Yeah," he said. Her breath caught. Just slightly. "I don't understand it," he admitted. "But I know I don't want to walk away from this." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "This is dangerous." "I know. You'll lose." "Maybe." "And still?" Wade took a step closer. Now there was no space left between them. "Still." The word stayed there. Between them. Heavy. Real. Hannah's hand lifted, then stopped halfway, like she wasn't sure she had the right. Wade closed that distance. Gently. He took her hand. Warm. Slightly trembling. "God help me," he murmured under his breath. Not fear. Not regret. Something deeper. Something he hadn't felt in years. Hannah didn't pull away. Didn't step back. Instead, she stepped closer, her other hand rising slowly to his chest, feeling his heartbeat. Fast. Unsteady. Alive. "You don't have to stay," she whispered. "Not for me." Wade shook his head. "I'm not staying for you," he said quietly. A pause. Then softer. "I'm staying because of you." That broke something. Not in pain. In truth. Hannah's fingers tightened slightly against his shirt. Her voice almost gone now. "Then don't make promises you won't keep." Wade's hand rose, brushing lightly against her cheek. Careful, like she might disappear. "I don't make promises anymore," he said. A breath. "But this, I'm not running from." Their foreheads nearly touched. The world outside gone quiet again. No gunfire. No shouting. Just two people standing in the middle of something neither of them knew how to name. And neither of them wanted to stop. The night settled around them, slow and quiet. For the first time since Wade had ridden into Rust Hollow. There was no sound of trouble, no distant hooves, no raised voices, just the soft creak of wood, and their breathing in the dim light. Hannah stepped back first. Not far. Just enough to remind herself where she stood. "This doesn't change anything," she said. Though her voice carried less certainty than before, Wade watched her. "It changes something." She shook her head lightly. "Tomorrow he comes back. Or someone worse does. And when that happens..." She paused, searching for the right words. "You won't be able to protect this forever." "Maybe not." "Then why stay?" Wade didn't answer right away. Instead, he moved past her, checking the window, the door, the quiet street beyond. Old instincts again, making sure the danger hadn't already crept back in. Only when he was satisfied did he speak. "Because leaving never fixed anything," he said. "Just gave it time to catch up later." Hannah leaned against the table, arms folded. "You think standing here changes that?" "I think it's the first time I'm not running from it." That landed. She looked at him. Longer this time. "You really believe that?" "I have to." Silence stretched between them. Not awkward, just honest. Then a sudden knock broke it. Sharp. Urgent. Both of them froze. Wade's hand went to his gun. "Stay back," he said. He moved to the door slowly, listening first. Another knock. Faster. "Mercer!" A woman's voice called out. "Open up." Wade frowned. He didn't recognize it, but there was no fear in it, only urgency. He opened the door just enough. A woman stood there, breathless, dust-covered, her clothes worn from hard riding. Auburn hair clung to her face, and her eyes scanned the street like she expected danger to follow her. You Mercer? She asked. That depends. She stepped closer. I've been tracking you for 3 months. That made Wade still. Behind him, Hannah moved closer, cautious. Name's Lila Grant, the woman said quickly. I've got a message for you. From who? The woman hesitated, then said it. Colonel Hargrove. Wade's blood ran cold. That's not possible, he said. He's dead. That's what everyone thinks. Silence fell hard. Hannah looked between them. You know her? She asked. No. Then why does she know you? Wade didn't answer. He couldn't. Lila pulled a folded packet from her coat. You're running out of time, she said.
There are men behind me.
If they catch up, she didn't finish. Didn't need to. Wade stepped aside. Get inside. She didn't argue. Hannah closed the door quickly behind them. Kitchen, she said. It's safer. They moved fast. Inside, the lamp flickered as Lila leaned against the table, trying to catch her breath. Wade stared at her. Start talking. She nodded. That war you walked away from, she said. It ain't finished with you. Wade felt the weight of those words settle deep. I buried that war years ago. No, Lila said, shaking her head. You buried the truth. She pushed the packet toward him. And now, it's come back. Hannah watched him carefully. Something in his face had changed. Not fear. Something older. Something darker. What is this? She asked quietly. Wade didn't open the packet. Not yet. He just stared at it, like it might bite. Trouble, he said. Lila gave a tired, humorless smile. Bigger than the kind already knocking on your door. Outside, the wind picked up again, carrying dust through the empty street, carrying something else with it, too. Something coming. And for the first time since the fight with Cutter, Wade realized this wasn't the storm. It was only the beginning. Wade didn't open the packet right away. He stared at it like it carried ghosts. Because it did. The room had gone still again. Even the wind outside seemed to quiet, like it was waiting for him to decide whether the past would stay buried or come walking back through the door. Open it, Lila said softly. Hannah didn't speak, but Wade could feel her watching him. He finally reached for it. The paper was worn, traveled, folded too many times. He broke the seal. Inside, documents, names, dates, orders. His jaw tightened. No, he muttered. Lila stepped closer. It's real. Wade flipped through the pages faster now, each line hitting harder than the last. This was buried, he said. After the war, it was all buried. Not buried, Lila replied. Hidden. Hannah moved closer. What is it? Wade exhaled slowly. There was a camp, he said, near the end of the war. Prisoners, unarmed, waiting for transfer. His voice grew tighter. A man in command. Major Dalton Reeves. Lila nodded once. You remember him? I remember what he did. Silence pressed in. He gave the order, Wade continued. Said they were traitors. Said they didn't deserve transport. Hannah's hand lifted to her mouth. What happened? Wade didn't look at her. They were executed. The word landed heavy. They were boys, he added quietly. Some barely old enough to hold a rifle. Hannah's voice trembled. And you? I tried to stop it. That same old sentence, the one that had followed him for years. Didn't matter. The room went still again. Lila stepped forward, pointing to the papers. He's still out there, she said. Different name now. Bigger reach. Land deals. Lawmen on his side. Wade's eyes narrowed. Who? Lila met his gaze. Victor Hale. The name hit like a bullet. Wade went still. That's not possible. It is. Lila's voice hardened. He's built himself into something untouchable. Judges, sheriffs, money, whole towns bending for him. Hannah looked between them. And he's coming here? Lila nodded. Not for the town. Her eyes shifted to Wade. For him. Wade closed the packet slowly. So Cutter works under him, Lila said. Or used to. Now he's just cleaning up loose ends. Silence. Then Hannah spoke. You said men were following you. They are. How long? Not long. That was enough. Wade moved. Fast. Checking his guns. Loading rounds. Setting them down with practiced precision. Hannah stepped forward. What are you doing? What I should have done years ago. You can't fight all of this alone. I won't. She froze. What? Wade looked at her. Really looked. This time, I'm not standing alone. Something in his voice made her chest tighten. Outside, the wind shifted again. Stronger now. Darker. Lila moved to the window. They're close, she said. Wade nodded once. Then we don't wait. Hannah's heart was beating faster now. Fear. But not just fear. Something else. Resolve. What do you need? She asked. Wade's answer came without hesitation. Courage. She didn't smile. Didn't hesitate. You already have it, she said. For a moment their eyes locked. No words needed. Then, hooves. Fast. Many. Coming hard through the night. Lila stepped back from the window. They're here. Wade picked up his gun. Hannah reached for hers. The house that had barely survived one fire was about to face something far worse. And this time, there would be no walking away. The riders came out of the dark like shadows given shape. Not wild, not loud, controlled. Wade saw it the moment they slowed in front of the house. These weren't Cutter's men. These were soldiers. Victor Hale rode at the front. Older now, but unmistakable. Clean coat, straight posture, eyes that carried no regret, only certainty. The kind of man who believed he had always been right. Wade Mercer, Hale called out calmly. I was hoping you'd still be alive. Wade stepped onto the porch. Gun low, steady. Should have finished it back then, Wade said. Hale smiled faintly. I did what was necessary. You murdered boys. I removed traitors. The words didn't shake him, didn't even slow his breath. Behind Wade, Hannah stepped out. Then Lila. 3 against many. But Wade didn't move, didn't step back. This was the line, and he knew it. You came all this way for me, Wade said. Hale nodded. You're the last loose end. Silence. Heavy. Final. Then Wade spoke. No. Hale's brow lifted slightly. You don't get to decide how this ends. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, gunfire. It broke everything. But not from Hale. From the side streets. From rooftops. From shadows that hadn't been empty after all. The town. They had come. Men Wade had seen hiding. Women who had turned away. Now standing. Now firing. Hale's men faltered. They hadn't expected resistance. Not like this. Not organized. Not united. Wade moved. Fast. His Colt roared once. Twice. A man dropped. Another spun. Lila fired from the porch, sharp and precise. Hannah held her ground, her smaller revolver steady. Fear pushed aside by something stronger. This wasn't survival anymore. This was a stand. The street exploded into chaos. Dust. Smoke. Shouts. But it didn't last long. Hale's advantage, gone. His men began to fall back. Then break. Then run. All except him. Victor Hale stood alone in the street. Gun drawn. Eyes locked on Wade. So be it, he said. He fired. Wade moved at the same time. 2 shots cracked through the night. Hale staggered. His gun fell. He looked down, at the blood spreading across his chest. For the first time. Uncertainty. Then he dropped, just like the men he had once ordered killed. Silence followed. Real silence this time. No wind, no voices. Just the end of something that had been waiting for years. Wade lowered his gun slowly. It was done. Behind him, footsteps. Hannah. He turned. She didn't speak. She just walked to him, placed her hand against his chest, right over his heart. You stayed, she whispered. Wade covered her hand with his own. Yeah. A pause. Then softer. I'm not going anywhere. Her breath trembled. Not from fear. From something else. Something fragile. Something real. Around them, the town began to move again. People stepping out. Looking. Understanding. Not just what had happened, but what had changed. Wade looked at Hannah. At the house behind her. At the town that had finally chosen to stand. And for the first time in years, he felt it. Not peace. Not yet. But something close. Something worth holding on to. Hannah smiled slightly. Tired, but alive. What happens now? She asked. Wade looked out over the quiet street. Then back at her. Now, we build something worth staying for. She nodded. And this time, neither of them looked away. If this tale stirred your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tales from the Frontier, where history rides the frontier. Courage is tested and love refuses to die. Until the next tale, ride on, partner.